In chaos or calm, your breath is your lighthouse, ever present, ever guiding, but only when consciously activated. When stress and uncertainty crash over you, one thing remains within your control: your breath. It's a lighthouse within, constant, unwavering, guiding you back on course. Some days the ocean is calm, the sun warm and the horizon clear. Other days the storm hits, waves crash and chaos reigns. Yet the lighthouse still shines. It doesn't move with the storm. It stands tall, its beam cutting through the darkness, guiding ships to safety. Your breath is that light. When life's waves are turbulent, it grounds you. When the sea is calm, it sustains you. But when your inner light fades, you drift. You lose direction and crash into burnout. Be the keeper of your own breath. Keep your lighthouse shining bright, because your breath will always guide you safely through the waves of life. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to How to Breathe Through the Waves of Life. And it's wonderful to be here on a Saturday morning, wherever you're joining us from. Let's connect. Let's breathe. Are we ready to breathe? Give me a thumbs up. I love to get a bit of reaction over here. There we go. Thanks, Dalmisha. Thanks, Jim. And Magdalena, wonderful. There's two of you there. CJ and Jonathan, if you're able to turn your cameras on, that's really appreciated. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get your attention here. And how do I grab your attention? We're going to blow a feather. Now, I've got a beautiful pink flamingo feather here. So you're going to hold up a virtual feather, an imaginary feather if you want. Hold up your hands in front. Hold up your right hand in front of your nose, about 10 centimeters away. Thumb and forefinger. And pretend that you've got a feather. Imagine that feather. What color is the feather? I've got a beautiful pink flamingo feather here. What color is your feather? Because what I want you to do, you're going to take short, sharp, deep breaths in and out your mouth, blowing that virtual feather, that imaginary feather in the air. So it's going to look like this. Going to be activating your belly and breathing in and out, short, sharp breaths. We're going to be doing that for 30 seconds. Are we ready? We're ready for this? Excellent. This one, don't do while you're driving. Just keep holding that steering wheel. So here we go. I'm going to ask you, hold your hand out 10 centimeters in front. I'm going to count you 3, 2, 1. You let out all your air. You're going to let go of the feather and you're going to blow and keep this imaginary feather up in the air and breath out. 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Short, sharp breaths. That's it. That's great. Jim, come on, man. It's going to fly away from you if you're not controlling that feather. There we go. You're feeling lightheaded. That's good. Don't worry. You're not going to faint. Keep going. Blow that feather. Imagine that it's staying up and you're activating your belly. Breathe from your belly in and out. Maggie, that's good stuff. There we go. And keep breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Good job. And take a deep breath in. Lift your arms up. Take a deep breath in, and let it out in a big sigh. How are we feeling? Put it in the chat. How are we feeling? We're feeling good, feeling lightheaded, feeling awake. See, I've got your attention now. You've forgotten about all the drama and the issues and the hassles, and it's Saturday morning. Do I need to go to the shops? What am I doing tomorrow? You're here and you're connected with me. Congratulations. You've just emptied the stale air in your lungs. You've activated your diaphragm and you've awakened your nervous system, which is why you feel alert and attentive. Am I right? Excellent. So for those who haven't met me, my name's Tim Wagner. I'm a breathwork alchemist. And what does breathwork alchemy means? Alchemy is about turning something heavy, negative, dark, into something gold, pure and light. And I use breath work to activate an emotional change of state in people, to break them outside of cycles of stress and anxiety and burning out, or keep them flourishing in high stress situations. But I didn't always used to know this. In fact, that photograph of me over there, you can see the date that it was taken. That was taken the night I walked out of my corporate job in 2018. I had been working and living in such a high stress state for so many years. My nervous system, my body, my brain, my everything just couldn't handle it anymore. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what burnout was. I had no idea why I was seemingly no longer able to handle the pressures and the stress of life. So I quit. One night, I was sitting working, and all I saw was problems. The issues and hassles around me were just becoming too much. The business I was running was suffering. My relationships were in turmoil. How I'm still married over after all these years is an absolute mystery. At the time, the relationship with my son was destroyed. He was a teenager. He needed a dad. And when I was home, I was never there. Does this resonate with anybody? Has anybody ever felt like that? Or perhaps you know somebody who has or is feeling like that. That was me. But I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything else what to do apart from quit. So I left. And that photograph I took on the night I was driving home, living in Blauberg in Cape Town. And I was too angry, too stressed, and too lost and frustrated to drive. So I sat on the tarmac for I don't know how long. And I took that photograph and I said, one day, I'm going to use this and I don't know how. But this led me on a very interesting journey to discover who the hell am I? Why, after 27 years working in corporate and hospitality and climbing ladder, could I no longer handle the world's stress? What had changed? What had gone wrong? And I went on a 6-year journey to discover the answers to those questions. And it's during this journey that I'd say that breathwork discovered me. And it came to me in the most profound of ways that I wasn't expecting. And I hope to share some of that story with you later on. But since this time, I've come to share with many people internationally over Zoom. Wrong way. There we go. On stages, virtually like we are here now. And even on the lagoon in Langebaan. We had a beautiful breathwork session this morning. That was taken this morning at sunrise, where I'm going to share one of those that we do there and now. Any people here from Langebaan that breathes with me on a Saturday morning? This is something I do for the community. But let's climb in, because I'm going to share more of my story about what led me to doing what I'm doing now that I absolutely love. So this is what we're going to cover today. How to breathe in stormy seas. When the chaos reigns around you, when you seemingly can't handle life anymore, how do you breathe to calm that, to get connected again? How to breathe in calm seas, because it's great. You're flourishing, you're working, but how do you stay there so that you don't get to the point where you can't handle things? How do you function at a higher level in that state? And the last one is breathing for transformation. How do we really start to create that long-term change metaphysically, mentally, physically, and also spiritually? So what we're going to be covering. So there's quite a bit of information. I do not expect you all to remember everything. What I would ask you to do is find one thing that resonates. Just one thing. One thing that's going to help you breathe through the waves of life. Can I share a testimonial? I've got a story I want to share with you quickly, just to drive home the power of what's possible. Is that okay? You're all right for a couple of stories here today? Let's give some interaction as well. I'm looking at you down on my screen over there. Thanks, Jim. So let's jump in. This is George. George Nagel, he's a Canadian. And when I first met him, he said to me that he had lost himself. He was divorced. His multi-million-dollar business had crashed. He'd lost it. He had burnt out and he had no idea where to go. And I met him a couple of years after this had happened, and he's still struggling. He said, when I first, in his stories there, when I first met Tim, I felt depressed, stressed, and struggling with anxiety. And Tim's sessions became my lifeline to helping me feel calm, relaxed, my old self again, transforming my ways that I never thought was possible. And it all began with me sharing how to breathe. And then I run many different programs. I'll share that with you later on. But what I'd like to do is open up a bit of a poll here. See if I can get this working properly. You need to go onto your computers there. What I'd love to know is, let's see, can you see that poll? Because I see a different thing to you. Can you see that poll? Have you got it on your screens? Lovely stuff. You have 3 questions there. The first question is on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being extreme. How stressed have you been in the past or the average week? And the next one, because you do all three of them, and then you click then you click launch or submit. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being very, how concerned are you with your health and well-being? And the last one, are you ready to commit to becoming healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilled version of yourself? Thanks, guys. I love it. There we go. All right. Let's see if we got everybody. One person still to submit. Let's have a look at these. So what we've got here on a scale of 1 to 5, stressed an average week 4. Okay, got one person who's coming in at 2. Love it. And you don't understand. Extreme. And when I ask this question in corporates, I often get people going, that number's not high enough. So somebody here is feeling exactly that. That's why I'm here. I'm going to change that. On a scale of 1 to 5, how concerned are you? Well, 3 of you are saying, yeah, average. But there's 2 of you who are going, yeah, I am concerned about my health and well-being. Something's wrong, but perhaps you're not sure where to start. You know something has to change, but you don't know what. That was my story. I relate. Absolutely ready to take action. That's why we are here. And there we go. Thank you for your honesty. I want to, but I'm trying to figure out where to start. You see, when I started this, I'm going to end that. Thank you for filling that in. That gives us a great perspective. When I started out on my journey, I had no one to talk to. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where to begin. I just started. And for 6 years, flapped all over the place until I eventually found it out. Now on the screen over there, where are we? Over there's a QR code. Take your phone out. I'll drop it in the chats as well if you are on your phone already. Let's see that I can copy this. Okay, I can't. I'm going to copy it later. I'll put it in the chats later on. Scan that QR code. Where is it? There it is. And book a time with me, a 30-minute call. So I'm going to share a lot of information, the practical tools you're going to take away. But we've all got our unique individual needs. And on a Zoom, I may hit something. But what I'd love to do is connect with you on a call. And when you do connect with me, there's a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to gift you a 750 Rand session for free. Okay? But I'm only going to tell you what that is at the end. So you've got to stay right to the end. But here's something important. I'm going to share more about this later on. That's not a sales call. Yeah? How often have you been, has anybody been on a masterclass or calls where the coach is going, and now I'm going to sell you my program. And when you buy now, you get this, but you've got to click in the next 32 seconds. Have we been on those before? They frustrate the living daylights out of me. I don't do that. Right? If you decide that you want to work with me, you sell me, you tell me, and then we'll talk about it. But I'm not here to sell. That's not, it's icky. Oh, anyway, right, let's move forward. Okay, scan that. I'll bring it up later on. And if you're on your phone, I'll send you the link shortly. I just don't want to break from here. So let's climb in to the stormy seas. Here's a bit of statistics for you. According to a recent Gallup survey, now Gallup does international surveys on flourishing health and well-being and psychological safety in the workplace. Big, big organization. They've just released a report on the World Emotional Health of 2025. And they've stated that 36% of people are in constant states of physical pain. Pain. That's hectic. 36% of people. So that means at least 3 of us on this call, 2.5 of us are in constant pain. 72% of people experience burnout at some point in their careers. And I can share many more very scary statistics with you about the state of well-being around the world. And this is what drives me, is to share the simplest techniques, because sometimes are the simplest things not the most profound ones. The simplest techniques to actually start to own that health and well-being. And here's a question for you. Go in the chats. What's the greatest cause of death worldwide? What's the greatest cause of death? And the chats. What do you think it is? Stress. Yeah, well, yeah. You're not wrong on that one. What else? What else is the greatest cause of death? Cardiovascular. Jim, since this pandemic and all of that, skyrocketed, mate. The answer I'm seeking is when you stop breathing, you die. It's that simple. Stopping to breathe is the greatest cause of death. Okay, why do you stop breathing? Because you had a heart attack. Okay, but you still stop breathing. I've got to help you share. So a little bit of fun. I've got to have that, right? Okay. So in order to understand a stress state, one of the simplest things that we can do is count our numbers of breaths. And I'll explain to you why afterwards. So what you're doing is sitting comfortably, relaxed. This is a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not 100% accurate. So it's an exercise or an idea that you can do a few times in a week and work an average, but it'll give you a good base of your stress state. And what I want you to do is in 1 minute, count the numbers of breaths that you're taking. One breath meaning in and out would be one. So you're sitting comfortably, you're trying not to manipulate your breathing, which is a little bit difficult to do because as soon as you start to focus on your breathing, you are manipulating it. But breathe at a normal rate, how you always breathe. It doesn't matter. We're going to cover that shortly. I just want you to count how many breaths. And after the minute, drop in the chat box there how many breaths you took, and then we'll explain why. Okay? So I'm going to count you in from 3 to 1. You let your air out, and then there's going to be a countdown bar that starts on the top there. Just breathe naturally, not forced, and count them. And 3, 2, 1. And stop. Please put in the chats, how many breaths did you take? My average is normally around 10 to 12. Now it's at 13 because I'm quite active with you guys, so it is slightly faster than normal. Jim, 12. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Just put in the chats there while I share and explain to you what a little bit this means. Damisha, 17, CJ, 15. Great, great stuff. Okay. So if you're breathing 12 or less breaths a minute, you're very fit and healthy. Magdalena, 10. Amazing, phenomenal. That is an excellent sign of not being in a high stressed state. Your body's calm, your nervous system is calm. If you're breathing between 12 to 16 breaths per minute, that's deemed as average, but the higher you go, the more likely you are to be stressed and anxious. Or perhaps you've got an ailment in your lungs. Perhaps you've had pneumonia, or you had a cold recently, or you have asthma, something along those lines. Anything at 16 and above is a clear indication that you're in a stressed state. The more you breathe, the unhealthier it is. So we're here to calm that. Let me explain a little bit why this is so profound and important. So imagine for a moment that you're standing on a curb and you're about to cross the street. You look left, you look right, you look left again. Or for Jim, you look right and left, but we're in South Africa. You drive on the wrong side of the road, dude. So you're looking, there's no cars. So you step out, but as you step out over the curb, this car comes whizzing past. You jump back. What happens in that moment? What happens to you physically in that moment? Do you breathe faster or slower? If it's faster, go up like that. I can see most of you. If the camera's not on, you're going to have to type. Do you breathe faster or slower? You breathe faster. Do you breathe into your chest or your belly? Where do you breathe? Do you breathe up or do you breathe down? Think about it. Damisha says up, Jim says up. You're breathing into your chest, right? Does your blood pressure go up or does your blood pressure go down? Up or down? Goes up. Does your heart beat faster or slower? Heartbeat goes up, goes faster. And do you breathe through your nose or your mouth? Damisha says mouth. Faster in chest. Yep, that's it, Jonathan. Mouth. What happens in that moment? It activates what's known as fear, fight, flight, or the sympathetic nervous system. You're breathing in here. Our bodies are designed to protect us. The most amazingly intuitive machines that we've got here, but we don't understand them. We don't understand why it does this. So what happens in that moment? The oxygen is taken from the prefrontal cortex of your brain and sent to the necessary organs to react, to run or fight. Tens of thousands of years ago, we ran from the lions. You didn't stand there and think, should I run? You didn't stand there as you were stepping out and look at this car hitting you and going, should I jump back, go forward, go left, jump up? You react instinctively. And your body is designed to do all of those. It floods stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline into your system. And you leap back to protect yourself, right? We've all been in a situation where you've reacted like that. Here is our challenge. We are living our lives as if we're permanently being hit by a car. We're not giving our bodies a chance to calm and move into what's called parasympathetic nervous system, which is breathing in and out our belly, in and out your nose, calming. This is one of the greatest causes of maintaining a stress state, picking up weight, not being able to focus, and hitting burnout, which was my story. When I met John, here's another story for you quickly over there. When I met John, he's a South African living in Scotland. He didn't come across as a very stressed guy, and he had tried for years to function at a high level, but was always finding that there was these restrictions in his mind, his subconscious mind, these blocks, and he didn't quite know what to do about it. After he did my full breathwork program, and I'll share about it later on with you, he described it. He said, Tim, it's as if you moved my psychological sludge. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I love the way that he described it. He felt like he was being, like somebody said earlier, they don't know what to do, or perhaps you're trying something, but it's just so hard. And I shifted it through the power of his breathing. So let's experience this right now. I want to share with you the resonant breath. And we're going to do this one together. This is one technique that I teach speakers, corporate people, anybody who is, I'm just getting my timer up on my phone here, anybody who's operating at a high level but is feeling stressed and they're not able to focus. So a speaker before they go on stage can do this. You can do this at any time where you're feeling that anxiety, you just can't, and you need to calm down. It's called resonant breath. So sitting comfortably, arms by your sides or in your lap, you're going to close your eyes. And what we're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose to the count of 5 and out through pursed lips to the count of 5. So in through your nose and out through pursed lips. And I'm going to count you in on this for the first 30 seconds. Then afterwards, I want you to count in your head. Count and visualize those numbers in your head. So closing your eyes, I want you to let out your breath. And 3, 2, 1. Breathe in through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through pursed lips. 2, 3, 4, 5. In through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5. In through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep counting in your head. And out. And in. And out. One more round. Keep counting in your head. And out. Just sit there peacefully for a moment and feel the calm come over your body. Maybe you hear the birds tweeting or the wind blowing in the trees. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Put in the chat how we're feeling. How does this make you feel? You're feeling calmer. You're feeling awake. You're feeling focused. How do you feel? Put in the chats there. Feeling lighter, feeling calmer. Damisha calmer, Sean calmer. What you've done, feeling nice, I like it, Jim. What you've done is you've dropped your breathing rate to 6 breaths a minute. Do you feel breath hungry? Like you need to, I haven't got enough air. I need to breathe more. No. The ideal breath is 6 breaths a minute. That's all that we need to operate and function. Because the more you breathe, the less oxygen you get. Counterintuitive. The less you breathe, breathing in and out your nose, the more oxygen you get. What actually happens is it opens up. It's called vasodilation. It opens up your blood vessels. It calms your nervous system. That's why you'll feel calmer. You can focus more. Now, for a speaker who was going to step on the stage panicky and the butterflies are all going like this, they're now actually able to remember their name. That's all that you need. So you can see why, with that breath test that we did, the more you breathe, the worse it is for you. The more you breathe, the less oxygen. Do you want more air or more oxygen? We want more oxygen, right? Oxygenated blood, oxygenated body, inflammation goes down, osteoarthritis improves, stress and anxiety, cardiovascular issues, blood pressure, digestion by calming. Now, here's something that I added to my protocols with my clients. Not only am I talking about breathing to realign your nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve, the most important nerve in our body, going from the base of your spine, and it goes throughout your body. All nerves go from the vagus nerve. Breathing helps reset this. Not only can you reduce inflammation, because now you're increasing blood flow, oxygenated blood. It's powerful and profound. But I had many clients over the years who were struggling with long-term dis-ease or issues from years ago, from a car crash, that the pain was still there, the inflammation, the joints, brain fog. That was me. Did you know brain fog is a legitimate thing? I didn't, until my breathing cleared my brain fog. But breathing gets you so far. Sometimes we need something else. So earlier this year, I added a new protocol into my offering for my clients in their health and well-being. And it's stem cell rejuvenating patches. Now, it's natural. I don't do drug dealers. Drug dealers wear white coats and a stethoscope. They're drug dealers. And I call them drug dealers out to their face. And here's the key thing. I've never had a drug dealer tell me that they're not a drug dealer. Not once. Not once. Because that's what they do. They push drugs. Pharmaceutical industry is there to manage dis-ease or pain, not resolve it. It's not what they're there for. If they cure you, no business. Okay, let's not go. It's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. So I introduced something called LifeWave stem cell rejuvenating patches, which is about activating your body's cellular level ability to heal. This is what it looks like. Tiny little patch like that. This is also part of my business. And many of my clients, while breathwork took them to a certain level, as soon as they added this on and started healing at a cellular level, profound improvements. I can tell you many stories. I'm not going to go into detail right now. I'm wearing one of these, actually. Here it is, right now. I'll stick it on my neck. No chemicals, no drugs. But this is something that is available for us. It's technology that's available to help our bodies heal, to help rejuvenate, to feel better, to reduce the pain and inflammation so we can do the things we want to do without being restricted. Because, it croaks and it groans. When I get out of bed, it takes me 10 minutes in the morning before I can stretch and before I can actually get to make my first cup of coffee. When I combine the modalities together, wow, absolutely powerful. You guys all said you either are ready to do something about your health and well-being, or, got a thumb there, or you don't know what to do, but you know you need to do something. Well, here we go. I'm busy sharing with you. It's another reason why to connect with me, so I can dig deeper into helping you resolve your specific challenges. But there's one key thing. If you remembered one thing from our session here today, it's the following. Shut your mouth. You see, when I started to go on my journey through breathing, the first thing that I read about that caught my attention was when you breathe through your nose, it acts as a natural tranquilizer for your nervous system and calms you if you're stressed and anxious. I thought, how profound is that? Think back to the car jumping back, breathing in and out. As soon as you shut your mouth, you breathe through your nose, you breathe slower. It breathes into your belly. This is what I talk about for breathing through the waves of life. There was research done in the 1990s, I think it was, in the US of 150 fatal heart attack victims. Somebody mentioned just now about cardio issues. 150 fatal heart attack victims. And they went and studied them to find out what is one core underlying cause of such stress on their hearts that their hearts gave in. And what they discovered was that 80% of those heart attack victims were mouth breathers. They were breathing in and out their mouth, indicating that they lived in a high stressed state for a long period of time. Our bodies are not designed to be remaining in that state for ongoing. We have to calm. But unfortunately, due to these things, cell phones, 5G, technology, social media, demands, government, Trump, our kids, the family, the dog, all this chaos around us. When we're sleeping, we're not regenerating. When we're sleeping, we're not rejuvenating. So how do you breathe when things are going well? How do you breathe if you're feeling calm, as you're doing now, to stay there? How do you breathe when the seas are calm? So a couple of key things. Shut your mouth. Make sure that you're consciously connected to your breathing. Lao Tzu said, the perfect man breathes as if he is not breathing. Have you ever stood in a shopping line and you've heard the person behind you breathe? It's creepy, right? It feels unhealthy when you hear somebody else breathing. The perfect man breathes as if he's not breathing. So remember, it's not the quantity of breaths that count. It's the quality of breaths, which is very profound in your health and well-being. And prioritizing nasal breathing into your belly is conscious connected breathing will unlock some real potential in you. And if you found that interesting, when we connect, I'll dive deeper in for you as well on how and why, because you must remember something or know something. When you react in a stress state, that's an emotional reaction to external circumstances. Do you have control of those external circumstances, or do you have control over your reaction? See, the world around us is always going to be chaos. So to get in a calm state, we can look at one thing: how we react. So why is this breathing tool the most powerful one? When we understand that stress, anxiety, fear, procrastination, all of these things are emotional reactions to external circumstances. Why does breathing work so profoundly that it can even keep us there and then help us to operate at a higher level? What we're doing when we're breathing is manipulating our autonomic nervous system, or our ANS. And your entire nervous system, you've only got access to one of the entire physiological aspects of our body, which is our breath. Now, unless you're some yogi or some fundi who's actually able to control your heartbeat, your blood pressure, of your autonomic nervous system, which is all the automatic things that happen in your body, God gave us access to one of them, which is our breath. And that can control everything. So let's play with this, because I want to demonstrate to you right now. No, you're going to demonstrate to yourself right now through a breath activation exercise. And I run this on the lagoon every Saturday morning, where we activate and awaken. But to do this, I need you guys to have one of these. Very old school. I hope have we got pen and paper? You're going to need pen and paper to play this game. This is a real legitimate one. But doing it is important. You have to write this. And only when you do it do you find the true power. So we're ready. Anari, Yunita, you're ready. What I want you to do is, on your pen and paper, I want you to write down what is your greatest goal that you want to achieve in 2026. You're going to write for just 30 seconds. What is your greatest goal that you will achieve in 2026? And I want you to write down whatever it is. If you can't think of anything, right? I can't think of anything. Are you ready? I see Damisha's already started. Okay, let's go. Let's write. 30 seconds. What is your greatest goal for 2026? Two, one, pens down. All right. Damisha, pen down. Stop cheating. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to breathe. How are we going to breathe? We're going to breathe to activate and awaken. So what you're going to be doing is, you need your arms for this as well. We're going to be doing 3 rounds of 5 breaths in and out our mouth. The only time you do a mouth breathing is for a specifically controlled reason, like what we're doing now. Are we ready for this? Here we go. Give me your hands up. Ready? All right. I'm hoping the 2 people that don't have the camera on, you're following through. Please do, because doing this makes you understand it intellectually as opposed to just emotionally. Let's go. We're going to be breathing 5. It's going to look like this. You're going to use your arms as well, because we're going to breathe in. You're going to inflate your belly. So you're breathing in. And we're going to be doing in and out. We're going to go. We're going to be doing it like that. Have we got it? Okay. Awesome stuff. And let's go. Breathe out. Let your air out. 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. Move your body. Move your body. You've got to activate. You've got to open up. Get everything going. And one more in. And then let your breath out. Now just sit for a minute. And if you've got a little bit of a buzz, that's fine. I've got to faint. Right, we're going to do it again. We're going to do 5 breaths. Are we ready? Let's go. And 3, 2, 1, let your air out and go. Lovely breathing. I love it. Now just sit for a moment. Breathe normally. Ooh, a little bit lightheaded. And we're going to be doing another round. Are we ready? But this time we're going to do more of them. Let's do 10. If you can get to 10, we're going. And 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Big breaths in. Big breath. 3 more. Let it out. Pick up your pen. Ooh, a little bit lightheaded. That's fine. Same question. 30 seconds. I want you to write. What is the greatest goal that you have achieved in 2026? Pen and paper. Only works if you're writing. Can't think about this. It is not the same. It's not how our brain works. What is the greatest goal you've achieved in 2026? Five seconds. And pens down. Now, I want you to have a look at what you wrote the first time and the last time. And we're a small group. If you want to unmute, it's easy to explain. You're welcome to. Just put your hand up like that. Did you notice a difference? Did you write something different the second time to the first time? Did you write something which you actually haven't thought of before, which is a bit different? Did anybody have that? Raise your hand. It's normally somebody who says, you know, something came up that I hadn't thought of before. Is your handwriting neater or scruffier? And if it's scruffier, is it scruffier because you wrote so much more, because you had more things to think about? Everybody notice a difference? Jim, you're laughing. What did you notice? Either put in the chats or unmute yourself, please. Nobody want to comment? You see what happens when you're breathing in this activation state? You've got this blood rushing through you. You're now more awakened. You're not so stuck in your head. So if you've got a project that you're doing and you can't find that solution, if you need to get more activity going, you're running out of energy in the afternoon, and you think, I need a double espresso. Breathe for an activating exercise like this. You'll find scruffier handwriting, Sean. But was it because you wrote more? Have a look. Was it because you had more things to write? So I've got to go write faster, write faster, write faster. My reasoning was different. Love it. There we go. Sean, yes. Because now suddenly it's as if you're going, You see, when we're trying to focus on something, have you ever sat there and you just couldn't find that solution? And you were getting more stressed by it, you were frustrated by it, and it wasn't going anywhere. Does it ring a bell? We've all been there at some point. And you leave it, and suddenly the answer comes because you're in a calmer place. You're thinking about something different. So what you're doing here is you're activating on a higher level. So use this tool the next time you want to be creative. You're getting stuck on a project. You think, okay, stop. Literally just for 2 minutes, you can change that and then go back to your project. Now, science has started to understand what has been theory. So for years, people looked at the Buddhists and they thought, oh, those people from the Tibetans, my writing was shorter and on the point, love it. When the Tibetans, this breathing thing, it's not for everybody. But the scientists started from about the 1980s, gathering a lot more interest or information about it. And one scientific study done in the 80s with over 5,000 participants, they began to crunch the numbers to understand. The question they had was, what was the core reason for early death? Was it genetics, diet, lack of exercise, too much alcohol? What was the reason why lifespan was short? And they studied this for decades, in fact. I think it was studied done over 2 decades, if I remember correctly. Here's a key thing which they identified. Lung capacity. Yeah. Lung capacity. We're only using about 30% of our lungs. So what you're doing with these exercises, all of them that I'm doing, is you're activating your lungs. Your lungs are like the muscle. When you don't use it, it shrinks. You're using such a small amount of your lungs. The greater capacity of lungs, the healthier you are. Science has proven that. And you're proving it as you're now diaphragmatically breathing. You're breathing into your belly, you're opening it up. This is how you breathe through the waves of life. So that's how you operate at a higher level. By staying resonant with your breathing, you lower yourself. But what about transformational breath? While I was busy doing my research and I'd stumbled across breathwork in the most profound ways, in fact, I was on Google, I was training to climb Mount Kilimanjaro at the time, which is the highest peak in Africa. And I was living at sea level as I do now. And I went on Google and typed in there, how do I train at sea level to climb at altitude? And that's when breathwork first came up on my computer. I thought, what is this? I found it fascinating. But as I'm learning a lot of these things that I'm sharing with you today, I meet a guy that became my mentor. His name's Brian. He lives in Bali. He's got a company called Yogi Lab. And he taught me and he said, Tim, breathing techniques is not only about helping you feel good in the moment, which can be similar to taking a pain pill if you've got a headache. It treats the symptom, but not the cause. So what is the underlying cause you're feeling stressed and anxious? What is the underlying reason why you're in pain? You've got inflammation, you've got a bad back, you've got sciatica, you have dis-ease. And you'll notice I never say disease. It's dis-ease, 2 words. Dis, out of, ease, balance. Why is your body, your mind, your spirit out of balance? So he taught me transformational breathwork journeys, which are deep 1-hour guided stories, guided meditative practices, not stories, I should say. This is deep diaphragmatic breathing. So if you found what I've shared with you here interesting, imagine doing in a controlled environment a 1-hour session with me. And that's my gift to you. For when I first went on a journey with Brian, I had to experience it to understand it, but not intellectually, spiritually and physically. And it was as if a reset button had been hit for my mind, my body, and my soul. And I felt calmer, more connected, more awake than I'd done in years. And it's this that I offer you. That's the gift that I'm giving you when you join me on a call. But I don't allow people to just jump in. I need to have a conversation with you to talk you through this, to find out if this is what it is. It's not only that you're needing. It's not only about being a consciously connected breather, which is being aware of the tools, but it's going deeper and drawing out some of that emotional turmoil, trauma that's held energetically in our bodies, and also reprogramming the subconscious mind, which is where your limiting beliefs are, your paradigms are. Stuck there. And when your mind, your brain, your conscious thinking brain gets out the way, your subconscious can kick in, which is where your 95% of our intuition and our ability and our memories are stored subconsciously. But we live only in 5% of our brain capacity. Did you know that? So this conscious breathing, we dive deeper into this. And we do it together in a profound session, all online. I work anywhere in the world over Zoom. Here's a story of Ursula Buerta. She's an international speaker. She's a high-performance coach. But she was struggling in her business to get to the next level. And it was frustrating her. She was having home problems that was affecting her business. Her business was affecting her home problems. And it was like all a clash. This home-life balance thing is out the whack. So she went on a program with me. I run a 5-week program. And I'll share with you just now what that means. And what she discovered, not only, you can read that, was she calmer, more connected. Her health improved. She was a runner, but she had an issue with her right calf, where as soon as she ran over 12 kilometers, it was too intensely painful. She'd been for therapy, treatments, acupuncture, chiropractors. Nobody could sort it out. after one deep breathing session with me, she went for a run that following weekend and messaged me. And she says, "You'll never believe it. I've just run a half marathon," which she had not been able to do in years. Her calf never cramped once. It never got painful once because there was a trauma, an energy block in that. And by breathing and activating on a deep level, she let it go. And I can share so many other profound stories about what happens when you're connected to your breath. Powerful. So there's that QR code, and I'll drop it now. I'll drop it in the chats for you as well when we finish. This is the gift I'm going to share with you, but let's connect. I want to connect with you. And as I said right at the beginning, I'm not here to sell you anything. If you want to buy something from me, we do it under agreement. Okay? Join me on a call. Scan that QR code. Let's connect. Dive deeper on what some of your challenges are so that I can then help you. And my gift is then you'll join one of the journeys. We don't do it on the call. That's done separately. Okay? Here's a few questions I'd like to leave with you as we round up, and then we're going to go to Q&A right now. What are you doing to create long-term success in your life? What are you doing? Would it make sense that we work together so that I can help you get there? Not only physically, but also financially. And if the answer is yes, well, that's why we're going to connect. But what does it look like to work with me? Well, let me jump off this. I want to jump off there. There's me in the pup. That's Happy Henry. Breathing through the waves of life. I'm going to stop sharing here now. Okay. So what does it look like to work with me? When I work with people, I'm not one of those coaches, let's just call coach. I don't like using the word, but coaches who says, we meet once a week for an hour and bye-bye. No, when we work together, we work together. And you have me on tap available for you throughout our time. Because I've understood that, let's just say shit happens, right? Life happens, stuff goes wrong. And sometimes you need to be able to connect with somebody in that moment to say, I need help right now. And I've had many clients who've given me a call and said, Tim, I feel like I'm going through a panic attack, just to talk through it and come out the other side while you're in your journey for becoming a conscious, connected breather, while you're understanding how you can use breathing protocols and also regenerative health with the stem cell patches while your body heals within, so that we can help talk you through these so that you can continue to function being the best version of yourself. So it's not only about once a week. No, that doesn't work. It never worked for me. It doesn't work for anybody. Breathing into the count of 5, out to the count of 5. If you follow me on YouTube, I've got a lot of videos there where it teaches you and takes you through different breathing techniques as well. But here's the important thing, is learning to be consciously connected to your breathing gives you more of an opportunity to actually function at a much, much higher level. So we went through that. We spoke then about what happens when you're actually functioning, but you want to be able to function at a higher level. When it's calm, how do you stay calm? Well, that's connected to your breathing. We're understanding now that using our full lung capacity is important, because when we're stressed and anxious, you're breathing into your chest. You're using only 30% of your lung capacity. But you can be using 60 or 70%. Top athletes and wind instrument players, swimmers, use 80% of their lung capacity. Those are the people that are able to function at a higher level and actually become the world's best. So the paradox of breathing is where we say that breathing more in and out our mouth and heavier, we think gives us more oxygen to our cells. But in fact, that creates a lack of oxygen and therefore chronic issues as a result of not having enough oxygen in our cells. So here's a thought for you. Next time you have an argument with somebody, put what I'm talking into practice. And when they're arguing, it's as if they're being activated in fear, fight, flight. They're breathing in and out their mouth. When you breathe that way in an argument, you're not able to be rational. Has anybody had that problem before? You can't rationally think in that state, right? Why? because the oxygen's been removed from your brain. The same way as you're protecting yourself when you jump back from the car I spoke about. Yeah. Deepak Chopra says, the biochemistry of the body is a product of our beliefs, our thoughts, and our emotions. Let me repeat that for you. The biochemistry of our body is a product of our beliefs, our thoughts, and our emotions. So your body, the result of how you feel, how you react, what your thoughts are, is a direct result of breathing. Because you can influence you in full metaphysical state by changing your breath. No pills, no drugs, nothing from the drug dealer. I'm not saying that there isn't a time where we do need pharmaceuticals, time and a place, I understand, but very rare, very, very rare. So go back to the basics. Go back to the basics of breathing. Have a look at how a baby breathes. That's the ideal breath. Stay connected to your breathing. And remember rule number 1. Can anybody tell me the one thing that I asked you to remember? If you take one thing away, Damisha's got it. Shut your mouth. That's the rule. This is how you breathe through the waves of life. So thank you for